and stuff, you know.
Yeah, okay.
Live.
Already.
Good morning, guys. On this very brisk, cold Sydney morning, it's snowing in some parts of our town, isn't it?
It's
wow.
nuts.
It's really freezing. But good morning, everybody. The reason you have me on here this morning with these two lovely gentlemen is because yesterday I did a great interview with a gentleman by the name of Andy Reid. For those of you guys that are on social media, Andy does a ton in social media. He's down in Victoria, and I tell you what, he does a lot for our industry. Absolute legend of a guy. But the big topic of discussion yesterday was on the fear of being judged. That video has since gone crazy. Viral is a good word to use. And it's clearly a big sticking point and a big issue, particularly within our own industry, but I think in life. And I think it's a really important topic that we wanted to address this morning. So these boys have asked me to come on the show. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure.
How's everyone?
So,
James, how are you this morning?
Very, very well. Ready to go again. How are you today, Mark?
Good, thank you, Mr. LAMPLOUGH. Good morning, Lisa.
Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Lisa.
So, guys, it was a very interesting interview yesterday. I would suggest that it was the most candid interview I've ever done. It is on our social media pages. Jump on and have a look. It's a really important message, and it's really rung true, particularly in the last, I want to say, 6 months. I get messaged now on a daily basis from particularly young girls, when I say young girls, I want to say, in their sort of early to late 20s. It's a really difficult generation. We know we have a 23-year-old daughter, and their whole life is about filters, and fake book. And, it's a tricky generation that those guys are growing up in. I have a lot of young girls that reach out to me and say, Lisa, I love how real and raw and authentic you are. And that really resonates with me. I had someone message me yesterday saying that interview had changed their life. So, there's obviously some very important messages there. We want to address those this morning about the fear of being judged, what's behind that. And as I mentioned last week, I did a massive conference up on the Gold Coast, ARIC, the largest real estate conference in Australasia.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's
Talk
lovely.
about the fear of being judged.
Just to be asked to do like that is an absolute honour, and to do that well was unbelievable.
Thank you. But I tell you what, talking about the fear of being judged and confrontational, if you want to push yourself out of your comfort zone, get up on a whopping big stage in front of 3,000 people plus, and you're soon going to quickly overcome that fear. That's for sure. That was a massive tick off the bucket list. But it's a tricky thing, right? It's easy for us all to say, James and Mark, we do tons of live video content, and I think it's really easy for us to say, just get on and press the record button. Like, what's so hard about it? But it is hard. How did you feel, James? You're relatively new to the industry, and we started and we said, here's your welcome manual and here's a video. Get on there and do a live.
James, we were just saying off air that how much for yourself there's been that change. Do you know what I mean? Like, and you said basically the whole team. There's that expectation on the whole team, isn't there?
Yeah. Well, we use our social. We use our social a lot. From day one, it was live video with Mark, and like a year and a half or so down the track, we do the podcast, we do live videos, we're doing everything through the week, and it becomes normal. But it's not easy to start, and it's still not easy necessarily. But it is. You're right, Lisa. It is an age where you're hiding behind filters. People are showing themselves off on their Facebook and their Instagram as that perfect life, which is what the association with this generation is. This is the most raw and organic that you can be, as natural as you can be. It does make you as vulnerable as you can be, I suppose. So yeah, it's not easy, but it's one of those things you get used to. But you really are showing your true self off when you're doing that, rather than the hidden person behind the image.
So what's the topic this morning? What was the headline? The headline again: the fear of being judged.
The fear of being judged.
So the fear of being, and I think to bring it on the fear of being judged. So to start in a real estate company and to do social media, to not have done social media before for some people's lives, and haven't done that before. I love what Lisa was saying yesterday in her interview, was that to get over that fear of being judged, you just got to know that you're doing the right thing for people, and then that really helps you forge forward, to follow your true north, to keep doing what you're doing, because you're genuinely helping people. So every time you're posting some property information, every time you're posting some a video of a property or advice for property, and you have that wholehearted intention that you are genuinely there trying to do the right thing for people, by people, it helps with that fear of being judged. You're always going to have that fear of being judged. It sits in you. It's just how much of it do you want to let in, and how much of it do you want to not let in. And something that I liked out of the interview that you said yesterday, Lex, was it lessens it a lot more when you know you're doing the right thing, and then you start getting that feedback from people. They start buying, they start selling, they start thanking you for the information out there. But where does everyone get this information? Like, if we're not putting out this information, where do you get it? Do you pick up a book? Do you walk into a real estate agency and sit opposite an agent for an hour? Like, I don't know.
So I think, for me, James, and for everyone that's watching, when I first started to do a lot of my social media stuff, I did cop quite a bit of flack initially. So let's go back 3 years ago, and I was the new girl in sales. I was Mark's wife. I was always behind the scenes. And all of a sudden there I was, popping up on everyone's Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn pages. And they're like, what's this girl doing? We don't real estate this way. And she thinks she's going to sell, property off her social media.
We had that banter in the office about how many times you're allowed to post.
Yeah.
We had a debate in the office. I don't know if you were there. No, you wouldn't have been there, James. But we had banter in the office about, you're posting too much. You can't post that too much. This is a joke. And I remember you turning around saying, post as much as you can, because people saying a post a day is probably as much as you can do. And you're saying 10, 5, 8 of them, as many as you want. And everyone's going, nah, that's spamming people on social media. It's like, but I've got the information to give people. I've got to get it out. And everyone's like, yeah, but it's too much.
And the reality is that, like, what if I've got 10 properties? What do I do? Just post one? So if I've got 10 properties, I'm going to post all 10 of them. I owe that to my vendors, and I owe that to the buyers that are following me on my social media to give them that choice. But, we're sort of jumping all over the place now. But I think, that for me, when I started out, I thought, well, gosh, maybe this isn't right what I'm doing, because there was a lot of noise in the industry. It was new. And I had to break through that noise. But what I kept coming back to was, this isn't about me, though. Like, I've got a vendor who's terminally ill, who doesn't have any money for marketing, wouldn't take any money from me either. Now, I sold his property off Facebook. So what's that got to do with Lisa Novak? And what's that got to do with the naysayers that are telling me that I shouldn't be doing this? What about the vendor who said, Lisa, you've changed my life and my family's life? How do you question that? And the next person, and the next person, and the next person. And then I very quickly started realizing, this is not about Lisa Novak, and this is not about those people that are telling me why I shouldn't be doing this. This is about my clients. This is what it's about. And when that focus, guys, starts coming off you, and it starts getting put onto that helping other people, your mindset very quickly starts to change. It very quickly starts to change. So, the raw, authentic stuff, I personally like to do video content that way. I'm very comfortable with it now. I know most of us are in our office. With that came in time. That came with a little bit of training. But the familiarity is what actually makes you start to feel comfortable doing this. For people that aren't comfortable doing it, do it as you like. Do a pre-record, whack a filter on if that's what makes you feel comfortable. But you've got to be putting yourself out there onto video. Everyone is doing it these days. We're a slow industry that hasn't yet caught up.
How did you get over the fear of being judged with social media, James? Because what happened in the background, perhaps that I didn't see, when you were doing your lives and doing your socials and doing real estate? How did you, like, when you started in real estate, like, your friends must have turned around and said, like, mate, what's with you in your suit, mate? What are you doing? You're gonna be a real estate agent. Like,
I even had it on the weekend. I caught up with some of my buddies, and one of them accidentally slipped up. They were like, "Oh, that's the video I sent to like so and so." So they're sharing my videos between each other. So like there is an element of they probably are talking, but the more I care about it, the more I'm putting myself in a detrimental position. Like just go with it. I'm doing what I'm doing. They're doing what they're doing. Like it's for work. You do what you got to do for work at the end of the day. So I don't know. I did look back at some videos that I took 18 or 16 months ago or something, and watching myself try and talk to a camera compared to now, and it's two totally different things. Not to say I'm good at it now, or but better. So it's definitely there.
You're just you being you, right? So James here and James, what we see behind the scenes at work, is exactly the same person. And it takes time for people to get comfortable at being themselves. Because these days, and just getting back to that generation, of the 23-year-olds, our daughter, these guys struggle, right, to just be themselves. Everything has to be about the perfect meal, the perfect scenery. I sit and watch them sometimes, when we're out in a restaurant, and they're all so busy taking photos, they forget about just being in the moment and just enjoying themselves and having fun. So everyone's so caught up on how this should look on social media that they forget that if you're just yourself, people actually respect that, and they do enjoy that. So that's a really, really important message. I think I'm going to start a whole new tribe called Just Be You. I think it's because people forgot how to they forgot how to do that, and they're worried that people won't like them for just being themselves. But the reality is, the people that weren't going to like you for being you probably weren't going to like you anyway. So don't worry about it.
I feel like people will respect you a hell of a lot more though if you're being yourself than behind all the fakeness, whether it is just through your Instagram posting. Like at least you're showing the real authentic side of you at the end of the day. And I guess a question I was just thinking for you there, Lise, was when there has been noise in the background over the last couple of years, it hasn't once been the buyers, it hasn't once been the vendors, it's been the competition essentially, hasn't it? The competition who are jealous of what you're doing and aren't able to do what you're doing. And that speaks louder than anything else, I think, in my own opinion.
100%.
Yeah, well said.
Really well said, James. And, can I be really honest, though? Like these, please don't get me wrong. I rarely get a negative comment, and if people are saying things and it's off my social media and behind my back, that's fine. I mean, that happens anyway in life, right?
Happened to James on the weekend.
It happens anyway. But I get an exceptional amount of support, particularly from my followers. And God help anyone that goes onto my social media these days and says anything negative, because all of my followers so it happened a couple of weeks ago. All of my followers I don't even need to do anything. They all get on and start flying my flag. But I get so much support from the industry, followers, buyers, vendors. But a really important point that I made yesterday in the interview, James, when I got asked a very similar question, was the people have voted. So the buyers voted because they're buying my properties or the properties that I have, and the vendors voted because they're giving me their properties to sell. And in a 3-year period since I started in sales, I've been able to do more than most people have done in a 20-year career in real estate. So, at the end of the day, it's the consumers that matter. It's what the people want that matter. That's the most important thing. And they vote, and they have voted. So, that's it. At the end of the day, the facts and figures speak for themselves.
Yeah.
So breaking through the noise, that's how you do it. Authenticity. Know that you're doing it for who you're doing it for, and know why you're doing it, and do it well and do it passionately and consistently, and you'll do good in anything that you do.
Absolutely.
But we're applying it to social media, selling. But it really works with everything. Eh?
Absolutely. You can
Follow your
take
true north.
100%. You can take the same formula and apply it to anything. You know, if you genuinely feel that you're doing something for the right intention, if you're passionate about it, if it comes from a good place, how can you fail? How can
There's good
you
karma
fail?
associated with it.
You know, ask yourself when you're doing, you know, that your social media stuff, particularly if you're an agent that's watching and you're just about to start with doing your video content, what's the intention behind it? If the intention behind it is to talk about how much commission you've made, or if it's to talk about your record sale in a block, ask yourself, is that for the people or is that for you? Because if the intention behind it is right, people will definitely vote.
With every post, with every conversation you have with clients, with every meeting you have with clients, it's just a winner.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So guys, there's some really important messages in here, extremely important messages in here. I didn't realize what a big deal it was. It was part of my ARIC speech last week. The fear of being judged, and you know, as I mentioned, I think it's the one fundamental reason why people don't put themselves out there on video, on social media, particularly on lives. And but as I said, the best piece of advice is you will get better at it in time. There's no doubt, like with anything. But ask yourself, what's the intention behind that before you go posting this stuff? It's a really, really important message. And just be yourself. People will definitely respect you for that. They really will. Guys, we're the same. Mark, you're exactly the same here or there off camera. James, so are you. So am I. That's just, that's who we are. Warts and all, guys.
Exactly.
No,
Exactly. Very well said, Lise. And well done on your no, very, very well said. And well done on your interview yesterday. And
thank you.
I think that's a wrap.
That's a wrap, guys. All right, I'm off to have a coffee. These guys got me on air. Talk about authenticity and raw content.
Yeah.
Mark said, can you come on the show this morning? Let's talk about that interview from yesterday with Andy Reid. And I'm like, Friday is my work from home day. And I'm like, Mark, I'm not ready. This is 10 minutes ago. And in 10 minutes, girls, listen, let this be a lesson to you. I jumped in the shower, did my hair, got my makeup on, and managed to get dressed all in 10 minutes. So I look tired.
Wow.
I need to go have my
coffee.
Done. Have a great day, everybody. Lots of love to you all. Power to you. Go be yourself, guys.
Well done for that interview as well.
Thank you so much.
And James, well done for breaking through in the last 18 months because what you've done, learning a lot of stuff over that 18-month period has been incredible. So, guys, watch James on social. Watch us all on social.
Yeah.
James's career exploding, doing well from a 0 to 100 in 18 months. It's pretty amazing. So you've done a good job. Buddy.
You've done an amazing job. I said to James the other day, James, I hope I don't embarrass you by saying this. I said to James the other day, hey, we might have something coming up in our team, like in my team. Let's have a chat. And what did you say to me, James? You go, I think that ship has sailed. I was like, okay. Like, kudos to you. Good on you. And I think it has. Like, you're definitely off and flying now. Really, you've done a phenomenal job. There is no doubt in my mind you're set for stardom.
Appreciate it. Thank you. I was obviously just being cheeky, but no.
And the door's closed now, James, anyway.
Well, that's right. I've missed the boat again. But no, learning from the best, learning from the number one agent on the beaches, residential, learning from the number one agent in Australia, commercial, learning from Mr. Mark Novak himself.
I've got no time.
That's a title on its own, is it not?
You've trained us all, Mark. You've trained us all. Coach.
That's right.
And FYI, can I just say, so cheesy. Best husband ever. Mark is so supportive. A lot of people ask me this. They're like, how does Mark feel about all the stuff that you do? Swear to God, he's so supportive. It's ridiculous. He does definitely just let me be me. Like, phenomenal. Yeah, awesome husband. I'll take him for
that's huge as well.
Tell my mum.
All right, guys, have a great day. Lots of love. Stay warm.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
See you.